10 years to push them back, but we did. What was once a prosperous river trade, the Mississippi, is now the front line. The eastern states supply the river states, and what's left of the UA live out their meager days self-policing. What is the West hiding? Nobody really knows for sure. But we're alive, and this is the new frontier.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to We're Alive Frontier. When we last left our expeditioners, they were stuck in the middle of I-54, leading out of what was once Jefferson City, but is now Osage. Cannibal town?
Tent full of blood.
Yes. And two of you, unfortunately, have taken grievous wounds from a very lucky sniper. One cleanly exiting in and out of Band-Aid, barely missing his shoulder blade. And Wraith and Stingray, not only aggravating the wounds to her head with shrapnel and glass from a window on a door frame, but also taking a bullet herself in and out of her midriff. You've lost the rail driver. You only have as much food as is inside of your packs and as much water as you can purify with tablets. You have ammo, you have medical supplies, but you have no transportation whatsoever. What are you going to do?
So as we come out of the river, we're coming up on the other side of the bank, and it's fairly like grassy.
It's fairly grassy. In fact, it's very little house on the prairie. Mm-hmm. Tall grass, open expanse of hardly anything in front, an occasional tree that will just loom kind of menacingly along this skyline of, well, flatlands. You can see a small crest of rolling hills more to the north of you, but minus the grass, there's very little cover.
So Wraith has been leading the way kind of as we've been moving, and Band-Aid has been supported by Kent for most of it, like kind of right behind.
Right.
And then Jenny's supporting Stingray.
I should probably also mention as well, with the kind of catastrophe that something like this would bring about, this many years later, there would still be a graveyard of cars that have attempted to go off-road into the prairie. Mm-hmm. And there will occasionally be, as you're moving through the grass, some skeleton of some abandoned vehicle that's been left out in the middle of the grassways, making it very difficult to just run full speed because these are like just giant metal landmines sitting across the grass.
Yeah, this will be the first time since we've been moving that Band-Aid's gonna notice just how hurt you are. What the fuck, you guys?
Keep going,
No,
keep going.
You need to stop. We need to treat this right now. She's not gonna make, so he's gonna start gingerly taking off his coat to lay down as a sort of gurney, like right there in the grass.
Just flatten the grass, lay the coat down.
And I turn to Wraith. Find us a safe place. Go.
Okay. I look around. Are there any structures in my eye line?
Yeah. There actually seems to be a couple of old farmhouses back towards the way you came.
Ooh.
Not south is where you came from Jefferson City.
Okay.
East along the side. So you'd be heading northeast.
What's my estimate on how long it would take us to get there?
It probably would be a not long 5-10 minute walk.
Okay.
At a brisk pace.
Okay. Not here. Farmhouse that way.
Listen.
5 minutes.
She doesn't have 5 minutes.
This is bigger than you. Listen to the group. We're gonna get somewhere safe, and we're gonna take care of it. But if we don't get there, no one's gonna get there safe.
Fuck, the last time I listened to the group, we ran into a fucking bus.
Keep talking like that, and your arm's gonna fall right off.
Band-Aid, let's go, babe. Let's go.
Fine. You wanna die? It's not on me.
All right. As you continue to move forward, you walk the time. Stingray, it's gonna get aggravated walking this much, so I'm gonna need another damage dice to roll against you. Okay. So you're gonna add another 4 onto that injury. Does it take you over your damage threshold on that second injury?
On the second injury, yes.
It does. Does this 4 take you over your damage threshold for a third time?
No.
Okay, then just add it onto there. It's contributing toward the third injury.
Okay.
But we don't have to aggravate, and we don't have to create a new injury.
All right, awesome. But I am going to scream out.
Yes.
Fuck!
All right. At this point, with the amount of movement that you're doing, you've made it to this abandoned farmhouse, which the first just sign that this is an old abandoned farmhouse is, as you can see, an abandoned tractor with a lot of the grass is literally just covering most of the side of it. And you can see a lot of the wood is rotten out. It does not look like a very stable building, but it's still standing.
Okay. I say, Kent, help me clear, and then we get them inside.
Hold on. Let me scan the perimeter, make sure no surprises.
We don't have time.
Shut up. I'm still alive. So is he, and so is she. We're not on the way out. We're trying to keep you the same way.
No arguing. Just, I'll go around the edge of the building, you check inside.
Whatever.
Wraith, as you do a perimeter around the side of the barn, you can see it's relatively clear. No danger, at least inside. Signs of small animals maybe living there. Some droppings, but overall it seems pretty clean.
Yeah, I'm not being super thorough. I'm going for speed, just to make sure that it's not
You run around.
infected or living people.
Yeah, you don't see any living nor infected. And Kent, as you kind of pull the grass to the side and lift the barn to peer in, the tractor's gone. Any livestock that was in there is long since gone. Beyond just the streaming light that broken through the holes of the barn in this midday kind of morning, you can see as shafts of light are illuminating long decayed hay as the kind of mounds of dirt have now kind of made small hillocks inside of this thing. It's abandoned. It doesn't look very safe as far as infrastructure goes, but it's got cover.
Band-Aid, go.
Fucking move. And I'm going to shove you out of the way with this arm. And make my way in. Get her in here.
I help her in.
And I'm going to do the same thing. Lay the coat down.
The coat down. All right,
On it.
let's treat this injury. Okay.
I just need to staunch it.
Oh, you asshole.
What happened?
I got 104.
104.
But I have a very good first aid score, so that's only 2 degrees of failure.
I'm going to realize that his hand is shaking as he's doing this, and I'm going to step in and just roll anyway to help.
Oh, yeah.
Competency points, competency points.
That's for the next round.
Got it,
This has
okay.
already been resolved.
But I am going to ignore these with 2 competency points.
Okay, so Kent, now tell me about how his hands are shaking and how you are going to get in there anyway.
So I get inside and I watch him basically shaking with one arm as his limp left hand is like flopping, trying to patch up Ray.
Go ahead.
38.
Versus
This is a first aid check or composure check?
first aid.
First aid check versus
It's a trained
62, so it's a
3 degrees.
3 degrees of success. Yes.
60. Yeah, 60. Oh, it's actually 2 because it's 62. That's a 38.
Okay. So 2 degrees of success, excuse me.
All right. So you can use these degrees of success to basically close both of her flesh wounds. It's not going to take any damage away, but it's just going to make it so she's not bleeding anymore.
To staunch the wound.
To staunch the wound.
I'm going to start getting to work on closing the bleeding on her.
Okay. You basically treat this first, and similar to what Band-Aid did with him earlier, you basically close it, and with your hand, you're just basically taking this point and you're just applying as much pressure as you can to let it get in, and then you just keep the pressure on there. You're essentially holding it while blood's coming across you the entire time, and that's what these checks are doing.
Okay, big guy. Isn't it ironic? Of all the things to kill us out here, it's gonna be people just like us.
Yeah.
And of all the things to save me out here, it might be an asshole like you. Listen to me. The only reason I was pissed at you is one thing. Not because you made a mistake, but because you didn't own it. You don't own your mistakes, you get people killed. No matter how many times you do something right, you gotta own it when you fuck up. That's the only way you stay sane, and it's the only way you stay alert. That's it. That's what happened to me.
Your eyes tell me that there's a deeper story. If you ever want to leave someone with your pain, you can leave it with me.
Let's not be that dramatic right now, shall we? Just keep pressing.
Jenny, Wraith, as you're coming outside, you can hear the screaming of Ray's pain as the pressure's being applied in order to staunch this bleeding.
Yeah.
You are looking everywhere right at this point, back to where Osage was, just hoping that nothing comes across that freeway.
Yeah, my back is basically up against the barn, the farmhouse thing or whatever, like I'm just kind of like slumped up against the door, and I'm kind of like.
What's going on in your mind right now?
I'm having trouble like handling it, and then like now that the other people can't see me, I'm like starting to kind of lose my composure a bit. And then, but then every now and then I try to like sort of shake myself out of it, and I like try to look and scan the horizon again. And I'm just like really worried that we were followed and someone's gonna find us and that kind of thing.
Jenny.
I'm also losing my composure. I feel like I've completely lost control over the situation, and I feel like I am in no position to be ordering people around, and I am by Ray, and I feel useless, but I'm there to support her, but I feel like I'm not there.
You came out here to the frontier to get away from troubles, to just abandon issues that you were dealing with inside of St. Louis. But you walked into a whole mess of something else, more problems. Problems that maybe you even care about. Is that something that's maybe going on in your head right now?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think it goes without saying, but this Osage City mission has been completely aborted. And whatever happened, owning it up or not, it's a failure. So I'm gonna take a morale away from everybody again. In fact, for the people who are dealing with it dramatically in an intense way, I'm gonna take 2 away. The people who are not injured. So that's another one.
This is shit. I'm gonna pull Jenny aside. Listen, I need to talk to you. I've known you for a long time, man. And I've been on missions with you before. This is your fucking fault. If you would have listened to us and pulled the trigger sooner, we would have had enough momentum to get through that fucking town.
Listen to me. If anyone is gonna get out of here alive, it's not because we blamed anyone. We all had a hand in stupid shit that went on this whole mission. You know, Asher would have been the same age as my kid would have been. Today, I wasn't there to save him, and I wasn't there to save Asher. We have all made mistakes, and if you want to keep blaming each other, then we're all gonna die here. I'll bleed out, and God knows what you guys will run into.
I'm just gonna slump down in the corner.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk over to Jenny, and I'm gonna very slowly just kind of walk with her, and I'm gonna say, you and I haven't had a lot of talks this whole time, but maybe there's a reason for that. You're a strong person. But these people over here are dying. So we gotta make a choice. You wanna put them up here? I'm gonna open my coat, show my pistol. You wanna put them down there?
Stop. We're not doing that.
Then we gotta help them.
Then let's help them.
But if they stay here, and we stay here, we're dead.
We can't move.
Facing the facts sometimes means swallowing what pride you don't want to take with you. We got shit to do because we're still alive. Because the forces that be, for whatever reasons, they got a job for us. See, because there's people out there, the dead, the infected, they're mad at us. Why? Because we're still living. If we stay here, we are dead. That doesn't mean they are. We got plenty of weapons. We can set them up. He's got a finger. We patch that wound, cauterize it, leave him with some supplies. We might have enough time to get back. We might have enough time to turn this around. But sitting here licking our wounds isn't gonna do shit.
Jenny.
I walk over to Ray.
Jenny. You guys gotta get out of here. Band-Aid's good at what he does. I can take a lot more than this. But you guys, you gotta go.
I'm sorry.
No. Don't be sorry. But if you die out there, I'll come back and kill you.
We're gonna come back for you.
I know.
We're gonna go back to that city. And we're gonna fucking kill Kamon. And we're gonna get our rail driver back.
I'm gonna tell you one thing. Don't hesitate. You make a move, you make a move. No matter what that move is, it's the right move because you made it, and then you move on to the next move. Take that with you. Trust Wraith. Don't let the big guy push you around.
I'm gonna go kill those bastards that did that to you.
Go get your fucking rail driver.
Jenny gets up. She looks to Band-Aid. She realizes that it's useless trying to make peace with him right now. She looks to Kent and nods for him to follow her. And they exit the barn.
Jenny, next time you need to make a decision, you remember her goddamn face. And you pull that trigger.
Speaking of which, don't forget your gun.
So, Wraith, you watch as Jenny and Ken just solemnly exit the barn.
Okay, I heard all of that.
Yeah.
While that's happening, have I seen any change? I mean, it's probably, what, about midday right now?
It's still late morning.
Or late morning?
Yeah.
Okay. So I haven't heard any noise of any approach or any of that sort of stuff?
The grass is so tall. And the bridge that comes over the Missouri kind of blocks your eye line into the city itself.
Okay.
It's hard to tell as far as you've walked a mile, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, in other directions, have I seen anything else now that I've had a little bit more time to look and see if there's anything maybe a little further away with, you know...
Besides the locusts that are just chattering amongst the prairie and the grass just swooshing as a gentle Midwestern breeze kind of moves through this farmland.
Yeah.
It's quiet and it's still.
And have I seen any signs that anybody else has come or gone to this farmhouse at any point?
I mean, it certainly was raided. And
yeah.
The tractor was taken apart. You can see the engine's no longer there. It's just the frame, the tires.
Yeah, I'm looking for evidence of other people basically out here at all, you know, whether enemies or, you know, other refugees from the city, someone who might be able to help us, like nothing?
Nothing.
Okay.
It's abandoned.
All right. So yeah, I'm there just kind of leaned up against the wall when these people come out of the door then, and I'm just waiting, and I'm looking kind of hopeless and desperate.
Mm-hmm.
Before we move on, I'm going to go move up and go and check on her, because as I've left, I'm kind of clearing my head. I'm like, she really does need attention.
Right. How far are they? Are they within?
They're still outside of
the
barn, so.
Listen.
You looked even more fucked up than normal.
Always a charmer. This.
What is this?
If I don't make it.
I'm here. You're gonna fucking make it.
Yeah, whatever. If I don't, that's for you and the others. It's not a will, don't worry. It's just a request.
Listen.
Read it.
I'm here with you. I'm not gonna be able to do much. Oi, Jenny.
Jenny walks back in.
To her.
This is from her. Get out there. Kick some ass.
Then I pass out.
Wraith goes back into the farmhouse, and you're awake, but she is not, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I asked Jenny, I'm like, so how long until Ray and Band-Aid are ready to move again?
They're gonna stay here. They're gonna heal up.
This is not safe. We're too close to the city. They can't stay here. We can't leave them here.
But then our first priority is finding them a safe place where they can heal.
Yes.
And then we're going back to Jefferson City.
My heart burns for revenge as much as yours, but these people, you're my family now. I can't lose that. Can't lose that again.
I don't want to die hopeless. And we have two options here. We can hobble off into the west and survive, or we can go back, kill some cannibal bastards, and get our rail driver, or die trying.
I'm gonna walk up with the MP5 as she's saying that, just kind of checking the ammunition. I'm gonna cock it. I'm gonna say, what, Vikings don't crave blood too?
I do.
Good. Let's get some.
Stingray, as you kind of finally just find sleep amongst the pain, as Band-Aid, knowing that he's there, and Band-Aid, as you start to make sure that she has a nice, tight pressure applied to her wound, and you start treating your own open wound thanks to other people at the party. You sit and kind of reflect on just how you're in this situation again, time after time again. It's like you can't get away with it. And maybe that's the crux of this world, is that it doesn't ask you for permission. It doesn't ask you for forgiveness. It just tells you what to do, and you've got to deal with it. And that is what you sit and stew on. So at this time, it seems like your story is unfinished. And while our three able-bodied survivors still seem like they have unfinished business, we're going to have to put your story at a pause, I feel like. So I'm going to ask you, with your blessings, to leave the table. All right?
Can I say goodbye?
Yes.
You fucking die.
I won't. I'll try.
Remember, the infected can hear you.
All right. Shall we? Yep. It's looking a little sparse. Actually, why don't you tell me what you guys are bringing on this expedition back into Osage, what was formerly known as Jefferson City?
Currently, Kent has one Molotov cocktail from my original 3 left. I have my MP5 as well. I have a pack of good old cigarettes. Half pack now.
Right.
Half pack. Meaning of some climbing gear, pistol cartridges, and my hatchet/fireman's axe.
Okay. Right.
And a baseball bat as well.
Good. I've got my AK-47 and my ammo box. I have a flash grenade, a pistol, my machete, lighter, and cigarettes.
Also cigarettes. Cool. All right.
I have my replica Viking sword.
Right.
And I have my new combat knife.
Mm-hmm.
I have a 9mm pistol, my armor, and let's see, I have my backpack with a small bug out kit, a medium survival kit. I'm not sure if I have my bow or not.
I think you probably kept your bow.
Okay.
What I'm interested in is how many arrows you have.
I mean, I've only used 3, I think.
Dropped 1.
I dropped
I
one.
know, I'm counting that.
Okay,
one.
cool.
Yeah.
The other 2 hit.
And the original was a quiver of 10, right?
Okay, so maybe I have 7 arrows left.
That's fine.
Now I've got my medium climbing gear, my crowbar, a little bit of paracord, and a low quality multi-tool.
Right. All right. So you've got most of the utility gear at this stage. So.
Yeah, maybe we should spread it around a little bit. Do you have any survival kits, Kent?
I do not currently. I used the last one, I think.
Most of his survival gear was inside of the truck before you guys bugged out of the city.
Okay, well, here's what we'll do then. I will give you what's your carrying capacity like? I mean, are you carrying a lot of other stuff?
Right now, I could carry something else reasonably medium-sized comfortably, I think. Like if it was a satchel or a bag, yes.
Do you want to take the medium survival kit?
That would be perfect.
Okay.
Okay.
So I've still got my small bug out kit.
Right.
It's kind of like a survival kit.
It's a crappier survival kit.
Yeah.
It sounds like you guys are laden with weapons and ammo, with a little bit of food and water from the survival kit in the bug out bag.
Mm-hmm.
But, that's mostly meant for one person. There's 3 of you. You probably have 1 or 2 days of food and water tops, I'd probably guess at this stage. And then it's going to be a lot of hunting and scavenging after that point.
Good thing I'm good at that.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're good at that.
Yeah.
So you're leaving the abandoned farm where Band-Aid and Stingray are still have the company of each other as you kind of head out into this plainsland, back towards the city, around the city. What's the plan?
Well, I turn to Wraith and I say, you're the expert on sneaking around and killing things. So what do we do? What do you recommend we do?
Well, if there were 5 of us before, and we were caught surprised, but even then we had a vehicle, and still look how many losses we suffered. So I worry that with limited information about the layout of the city, that it'll be too difficult to get in and disrupt it.
Scope out the city.
So we need either to do reconnaissance of the city from the outside edges, or better yet, find someone who knows the city who can help us. In any situation where you have a civilization like this, there are people who don't want to go along with it. There must be refugees. But this world is dangerous, so they would not go too far out into the wilds.
You're hoping maybe to find some kind of refugee camp or any kind of survivor who's made it far enough out of the city.
Yeah, and I mean, they don't even need to be somebody who could help us. It could be just somebody who's from the city and got away and just knows about, like, this is where the bad guy's headquarters is, and this is where they keep this stuff or whatever.
Right.
You know,
Right,
like it
right.
doesn't even need to be, you know, someone who's willing to help us, but just help us as far as like give us stuff or have resources.
So you're still on the northern side of the Missouri at this moment. You've crossed over essentially the river at this stage. North of Jefferson City is a lot of pretty open space. Do you want to head north to get out of the area a little more, or do you want to scavenge and potentially survey along the northern side of the river?
We should probably try and gather some water too. Fill up the canteens.
Go do that for us right now.
Yeah, we should scout along the northern bank. It has a good view of the rest of the city, but we're far enough out that it might be difficult for them to see us.
Well, that's what we're doing then.
Yeah.
Right. So, if that's the circumstances, you basically head back to the overpass of I-54. This is one of the reasons I love Google Maps.
Yeah, I mean, we're not going to cross back over or anything. We're just going to stay on the.
no.
We want to
Stay
keep the
close
river
to the
between-
water.
Safe.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep the river between us and the rest of Cannibal Town. But
Yeah.
Cannibal Town.
And this bridge that you went over, by the way, is a steel-girded bridge, by the way. It stands at least maybe 30 feet, 20 feet tall, as it kind of goes over the riverside. But it's lifted above the ground. So you can go under the bridge, essentially, as you head towards the water. The bridge actually itself is pretty good cover, I would say, because even underneath it, you're able to kind of look past the river, but anything that would be coming above it or around it would have to go under the bridge in order to find you.
maybe we'll find a friendly troll.
I'm going to look in the river and see some discolorations of almost oil or gas or something, and it's coming. Which way is the river running? Is it running downstream? or
Yeah, it's
upstream?
running.
So if it's running towards Jefferson City,
Yeah.
okay. So that won't work then if we're north of the city then. But I am going to notice that there's oil, and I'm going to look and say, this has to come from somewhere. Is there a runoff drain system?
I mean, any settlement produces waste.
With the river being so close, I guarantee you there's sewage pipes around here somewhere.
If we need to access the city again, that may be a good way.
So as you slowly start to get closer to where the Missouri is, a little farther up the river, there's another large river that's feeding into the Missouri. As you know, basically the Mississippi is fed by just a chain of rivers that all eventually dump into it. And so this is another smaller, let me see how far up it is. Ooh, it's actually pretty far up, so it's not entirely accurate then. From where you're at, you can very easily kind of see a skywalk that is essentially a small kind of bridgeway walking over the city. And across the river, you can see several of the brick buildings that are laid up across the southern side of the Missouri. And even though you can see over it with binoculars, especially under the bridge, it's a pretty good vantage point from here. You don't make a big profile with just 3 of you.
Yeah.
You know? So getting you to the bridge is not a problem. And you kind of look over. You can't see what's above you, but scanning along the riverbank on the southern side, you can see Jefferson City it's a hive of movement. Like, there's not hundreds of people rolling around. It was like when you guys were driving the first rail driver through, but you can definitely see people are moving around, and you can start to see just groups of people starting to mill about on the southern side of the river.
One thing, if I wasn't clear before, no open flame, no campfires, and keep all sound as low as possible.
Right. Kent, you managed to gather some water, filling the canteens. You have in the survival kit some purifying tablets, but you have to roll depletion on that survival kit. Just 1 at the moment. You're just using it for the first time.
1.
Done. You just put enough drops in there just to cover the water. Shake it. Should be ready in about 15 minutes. So, what can I tell you about what you can see? Well, it seems to be an old converted inn. Initially, it seems to be kind of just like dormitory living, so the inn's been converted into a housing for the community. Ironically, this part of the river, the 63 that you are currently on, you were surprised at how kind of little security that this bridge has as far as cutoff goes. You saw yourself just how much lockdown New Haven had to prevent infected from getting in.
Yeah.
There doesn't seem to be that concern. And that you're just getting that kind of gut feeling around this area, as if it's like Jefferson City does not have the same issues with infected as, say, New Haven does.
If they have a different relationship with the infected, either they've learned to live with them or some way to keep them away that we can't see.
You saw they treat the regular people.
It's bad enough. They're definitely worse.
If we could somehow, I mean, this is gonna sound absurd, but if we could free their slaves or get them to rise up.
From our vantage point, can we see any cages?
From your vantage point, no, because you see.
But I've seen them.
Yes.
I've seen them.
You've seen yes.
Yeah, we saw they had like
currently from our vantage point.
They
No,
had
you're-
carts, like wagons.
What you seem to be staring at is actually kind of more of the like the upper class living
Yeah.
of Jefferson City, because this inn does seem to be, I mean, as upper class as you can be in the frontier this far out, 20 years after civilization has fallen. You can actually see the rail line first. So literally right as the river comes up, you can actually see the rail track as it's the first thing as the river comes by. And then very shortly afterwards, it comes up into actually a hill in which you can see several Victorian style 3-4-story homes that are dotted just along the riverbank. Pre-war, they may have been very nice, well-to-do homes in which wealthy people lived in who wanted to have something along the Missouri. It was a, beautiful southern home. Now it looks like they've been redesigned and refurbished and are keeping a lot of that majesty still in place, as if the best of Osage City is probably living in these towns. And you can see that there are people who are going out on their backyard, so to speak, out to the river and are looking across the river, but they don't look like families. They look like people with binoculars,
Like
who are
sentries.
Who are scouring the northern part of the river.
If we're looking for help from people who don't like the current power structure, we won't find them among the rich, among the satisfied. We should try to find if there's some sort of slum on the outskirts or people who are upset with the social order. Those will be people who can help us.
Let's go then.
So are you...
Do we see anything like that? You said something about further down the river.
If you recall, and Jenny, you would be the one, because you would have recalled there was a large, what probably was a state park at one point, but it had jagged kind of, it looked like an enclosure.
And what side is that on? Is
That's
that
on the southern side.
The southern side.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there's really nothing of interest on the side we're on, is what you're saying, right?
Well, that's a very clean break between city and nothing on the northern side.
And on the southern side, what did it look like again? It was this, like you said, it was an enclosure.
Yeah, it looked like a state park that was converted into a slave pen.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, look, I think we should go check out the southern side. When we were coming in, I saw something that, well, it could be a slave pen. I'm not sure.
We should stick to the river for cover. We don't want to let anyone see us close to the bank,
Okay.
on the grass. What do you think, Wraith?
I think the bulk of their sentries will be watching and protecting this upper class district. I agree.
All right. We're moving.
We're moving.
Are you moving south?
Being stealthy
Yeah.
and moving.
I will say, as you're moving down along, you do notice to the north of you a department store that's just been gutted and cleaned, by the way. It actually looks like it's a large portion of maybe where Jefferson City got a lot of their first supplies in. It was a surplus store. You could see it was just gutted. You know, all the windows had been broken. It probably was raided decades ago, you know, but its kind of skeletal form reminds you of like a whale of which every little piece of it had been picked clean. And now the overgrowth is starting to take over like an ecosystem that was basically feeding off of this old surplus store. As you travel south, you can actually start to see a couple of boats inside the water as well, too.
On this side?
Well, they're in the water.
Oh, they're in the water puttering around, or?
Yeah, they seem to be paddling over as if they are coming to the northern side of the Missouri. You can see a couple of canoes that are essentially, they're farther downstream from you since they are just coming across the water, but you can see a couple of patrols are now essentially paddling over to the northern side. So.
Okay, so we crouch down.
Right.
We should take cover in the structure.
We need to take these guys out. If they find Band-Aid or Ray. Yeah, how close are they to that barn?
They are downstream.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Downstream.
Okay.
So you can see them, they're basically, no one's crossing the highway that you've seen yet, because that was the most direct line to the abandoned farmhouse that you could tell.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But as you are going downstream, you are seeing a few other boats starting to basically make the river crossing. There's hardly anything on the northern side of the city except for maybe this old Department of Water and Power building, which you note for later may be a more secure situation to go to if you need to go back to Band-Aid and Stingray. But you don't see it until you walk about another half a mile south.
It's different than the department store you're talking about? Surplus store is different.
Surplus store is different than a concrete building, which you recognize later as like an old electrical.
Okay.
You know, it has the old grid.
Yeah.
Metal grid that's been long been rusted and just broken apart.
But that would be a good place to fortify if we need to make a more permanent spot.
Yeah, I mean, the chain link fence fell ages ago, but it still has a concrete building inside there.
But the closest building for us, if we wanted to get cover from this patrol.
But this Department of Water and Power building is...
DWP.
DWP.
Yeah.
Yes, is probably the most secure as far as concrete goes, and it actually overlooks the northern bank of the Missouri.
Let's enter this building. If they come to us and find us, we'll fight them, but it'll be on our terms, and we don't take unnecessary risk or expend unnecessary resources. They could miss us. I'd rather hide than fight.
I think that's a good idea.
I should also qualify, because I'm reality checking myself quite a bit. It's a water treatment plant.
Even better. Even better.
So a water treatment plant is not far from here. And you can see they're starting to, they're targeting that building. They can see that concrete structure. And so as they kind of like, again, they have to kind of go downstream a little bit in order to against the northern side. You can see them all kind of getting out of the boat as you're all moving forward towards it.
They're coming to that building?
They can see they're eyeing it, you know?
How many patrolmen?
What's that?
How many are there?
Difficult to tell. I mean, there's a couple boats, but the boats are moving out. But Wraith, there's hardly anything
Except for this building.
We need
Except
the
for this
cover.
building.
Okay,
We
well,
need
so
the
yeah,
cover.
even if they're going to come to the building, we need to go in the building.
It seems like the most likely target, but it's also the only target on this part of the river. So
Water treatment building.
a water treatment building. They're going to check that first before they go start looking around other places. But as you said, better to meet them on your terms.
Yeah.
You know?
Should we go inside?
Yes.
Get in the building before they do.
All right. So
Stealth roll?
you, stealth roll. Alcuin's taking lead. We can use his check.
Perfect.
All right. That is an 80 for me, which is not great, but I have, well, no, that is 1 degree of failure.
All right. So what we're basically going to say with it is that you favored speed over stealth in this circumstances to make sure that you get to the building as quick as you possibly can. Okay. Well, let me actually just see how they do, because they could also woof it as well, which they absolutely do. And you run, but not stealthily, but thankfully you can see they're all kind of like gearing themselves up and not really looking around as you make your approach into the building. You move across basically the long, tall grass of the prairie lands, and you are kind of seeing these armed men who are shifting, shaking water out of their boots as they're strapping in. They look very bored, by the way. And you come into this large concrete building and you can hear the grinding of the long rusted hinges just as you swing the door open and you go into this concrete water treatment building. As I don't know for sure, I've never been in a water treatment plant, but I am assuming that they go under.
I can take a guess.
Yes.
What it looks like.
Please tell me.
Okay. There are some large vertical tanks and pipes running at ground level and also along the walls. And then there's a sort of perimeter catwalk of metal that runs around about 20 feet up.
Right.
The room itself is probably about 40 feet, a 40-foot ceiling, but the catwalk is up at about mid-level and goes around the edge of the room. And I don't know if there are any doors or exits or other things like that.
Yeah, it'll probably be one in the back, one in the front.
Okay.
The check-in office, small things like that. You go in there, and it's long rusted. Like everything in there has either been, because of desalinization, it has either like a coat of brine that seems to be across everything, or it is just rusted to the point of where even just moving a little bit of the handrail just makes it, just flakes off, just copper everywhere. So, copper-colored rust.
I'm looking for the control room to try and find a map of the aqueducts in the area.
Yeah, well,
hopefully that there's something maybe on the wall in the main room that tells you a schematic, a blueprint of where it lays, the city.
Search check. Anyone else want to do anything in here?
Yeah, I guess we're all kind of looking.
Search.
Right?
Everyone
It's
can
all
search
look.
then.
Ooh, yeah.
Good one for me too.
I have 2 degrees of success on my search.
I have 3 degrees of success on my search.
1 degree of failure.
All right.
You're thinking about other important leader stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Kent, why don't you tell me what you find?
I see the catwalk, and after we close the door, I motion you two. I'm going up there to look. And I scramble up there, and I find a control room that has panels covered in dust and corroded with rust and everything. Nothing works, and my hand even goes to move one of the levers, and it literally snaps off.
Snaps off.
And I'm just like, I don't even want to touch it anymore. But I look around, and I do see on the wall, there is, it's bolted into the wall, so I can't take it because I don't have a tool to take the bolts out. But it's an exact schematic of the whole city's layout, and it says, like, you are here where the water treatment plant is.
You found the mall directory.
Yeah.
Jefferson City.
So I start looking at
And the major waterworks
the major
that
waterworks that
feed
feed
into the
into
city. Yes.
So that's one
Yeah,
successor
absolutely.
there. My second,
Actually, that's
is that 2?
That's 2 because
Okay.
you just got an entire layout
Awesome.
of
That's
Jefferson
pretty good.
City.
That's pretty good.
So
Now
yeah.
I'm looking for, basically, I know I can't memorize this, so I'm trying to look for something to scratch into a metal plate so that I can make maybe my own version of a map. So then I'm going to go out, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm going to whisper to them.
Okay. We'll handle my successes after we deal with this with him.
I'm just saying he just resolved his successes.
Oh, okay. Now you want to know mine.
Yeah.
All right. So I look around the bases of the water tanks and things like that, and I notice that there are areas where there are footsteps in the dust.
Yeah.
And it's they look more recent, and they also don't look like somebody kind of exploring. They look like there's somebody who might be using this area as a hideout.
The biggest giveaway is that you actually find 3 twin mattresses just laid up between 2 tanks, you know, as well as a pile of clothes and a couple of small fetishes.
Okay.
Yeah, tiny little wood carvings. They look nothing like the totems that you saw coming into Jefferson City.
Fetishes.
Yeah.
Okay. So I turn to Jenny and go, there's someone else here. There's someone staying here.
I'm looking, taking it in, and then I hear you calling for us. I go over.
And he shows you. Give me 1 degree of success, by the way.
Okay.
Yes.
And can my failure is resolved in that I wasn't able to search for anything because these 2 did so well.
Yeah. Excellent.
How about that?
You're looking around, but then before you even find anything, you hear Kent call you up. Psst.
Look, I think this is an entire map of all the waterworks here. I don't have anything to write it down. Do you have a light or something we could scratch into a panel to make something close to a copy of this?
You see Wraith pulls out a small, what looks like a little booklet from the inside of his clothing. It looks like a weird passport. And as he does, like what looks like a folded up piece of paper falls out of it, but he doesn't notice. And then he also pulls out like a small pencil.
Yeah.
And you can see he opens the passport, and like a lot of the identifying pages in the front of it are ripped out.
Yeah.
It's like a Norwegian passport. But the back sheets, like the memos pages that are normally blank for stamps and things like that, there's one page that has a single stamp in it for like leaving Oslo airport. And then the remaining pages have scribbles and little drawings and stuff on them. But he turns to a blank page and hands you the passport and the pencil.
Give me another degree of success.
Before he does, I'm going to pick up.
I dropped something too. So
Drop something.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick it up, and as he's fiddling through, we're going to look at it, and it's a picture of.
It's a picture. It's a magazine clipping of an article from like a metal magazine, and it shows 2. It says, plague bearer comes to the U.S. And it has a picture of there are 2 men in it, both who look a lot like Wraith. And the one in the front looks kind of like he's holding a guitar and he's looking all like super confident, like or whatever. And then there's one kind of out of focus in the back who looks like kind of quiet and withdrawn. You don't have time to read the article or anything like that, but it looks like it's an interview with these 2 brothers from a metal band.
Cool.
And Wraith sees that you have it and grabs it out of your hand and puts it in his clothes.
And I mean, can I start copying that map down?
Yeah, copy the map.
I am just looking at all the important parts. I mean, I'm an engineer, so I'm looking at
We're
this.
comparing notes.
And
like, I think it goes here, this way.
And just everything that looks like it could be useful.
The door slams open as someone kicks open the front door, and you can hear as the metal hinges. And the clop of just boots on metal just clank and step through. You can actually see the silhouettes of them starting to move through as part of the light is permeating the outside, leading into the water treatment plant. So let's draw this picture out a little bit. This is actually one I don't have a diorama for. However, I'm going to throw out some maps courtesy of Broken Egg Games.
Oh, nice. Up to the catwalk, up above. You can fire on them.
I instinctively tuck that passport safely inside my jacket, and I quietly make my way up the catwalk.
Okay. All right. So you come around, leading up in on the left side or the right side. You won't be in the back. Sorry. It's either the left side or the right side.
I'm on the left side.
So that would be all of you then.
Okay.
So if you replace your meat, you just need to put them within where those very impromptu walls are.
Oh, over here?
No, it's the
within the square it makes, I guess.
Yeah, within the square that it makes. Perfect. Great. Now you can make a spot listen. Anyone, everyone.
No harm in trying.
She looked good.
Yeah.
I didn't.
I did not.
3 degrees of success.
Okay. You're under the assumption that there are at least 4 in here. You think there's 3. How many did you get?
3 degrees of failure.
You think there's 5.
Okay.
What would you like to do?
So we're elevated right now on the catwalk, and they're beneath us.
Presumably.
Presumably, from what we can tell.
Okay.
Wraith, get down there. Hide behind the pump. If they see you, we'll open fire from up here. Be careful. Jenny.
And I'm making my way. I'm already making my way with the
Across the catwalk?
Yeah, I'm already.
So you want to move it to like where that middle tank is?
I want to say we're rotating with the group, so we're always keeping a cylinder in between us, you know? So like if they're moving, we're kind of like, you know, so wherever they are, there's always a line of sight blocked.
Right, I see.
You see what I'm saying? Okay.
Yeah, so you're kind of in there. Well, all right.
So we're assuming there are catwalks that kind of crisscross this to access
Yes,
the
there's
tank?
essentially every tile on here is a viable tile, whether it's underneath or above.
Okay.
Because of the impromptu situation at the bat, I'll tell you if you're below, then we'll denote something that'll show that you're below. Are you doing anything other than just moving?
I'm pointing my gun at them.
All right. Are you waiting to fire?
Yes, I'm waiting to fire.
Composure check.
Composure check. Composure
If
check.
you want to wait with the trigger.
Pretty good.
Nice.
1 degree of success.
Great.
And how many speed die?
2.
2 speed die.
All right. I reach into my one of my pouches and I pull out a small animal knuckle bone.
Yeah.
With some carvings and stuff on it.
Yeah.
And I want to throw it off into this corner.
Ah, got it.
Good.
And then I want to flatten myself on the catwalk.
Yes.
Grab the edge of the lip, hang down, and then quietly release and try to land on the floor below.
2 speed dice, stealth check, and a throw check. If you want to do both.
I'm going to follow Jenny with my MP5 drawn also.
Okay.
So I'm basically going to be 1 step. So if she's here, where did you go, Wraith?
I've dropped down.
Yeah.
Drop straight down from where you are?
Yeah.
I'm going to go almost over here.
Okay, that's fine. So then, Jenny, I'm going to have Mav, you make a stealth check real quick.
Okay.
But we can all roll our dice.
First time.
So, Wraith, you're up with an 8.
All right. I got 3 failures on the throw.
Okay.
But I also got 3 successes on the stealth.
Cool. Okay.
So can I use the failures and successes to cancel each other out? And
Absolutely.
Just be at 0 for both?
You could literally just have it be a wash. Get
Yeah.
down there, the throw's not going to affect anything. In fact, you just hear it,
So, okay.
and it's so quiet that you heard it because you were listening for it, but you don't hear any reactions from the Raiders at all.
Okay. So yeah, then I slip and roll under the bar, hang, and drop quietly.
There you are.
Yeah.
Okay. Then our team is up now. So you kind of hear them. All right. You know how this is done. Left, right, call if you see anything. Yeah. There was 5 of them, but I only saw 3 go into this building. So look for any wounded, any blood, anything like that. You watch as they slowly creep up. And as this one kind of comes around the corner, Jenny, they spotted you. You hear him just kind of yell, "Oh, there's one!" And he lifts his gun up to shoot, and you hear a ping as it kind of ricochets off the tank right close to where your face is as you duck down around behind where one of the tanks are.
You have to do the classic, put the little clear plastic dice box and put your finger on top of it.
the best.
Yeah.
It's the best way to do it. Ta-da! Found some. Good plan. Let's do this. I'm going to place Kent above. Jenny's above. And everyone else is down below. Okay? So as one lifts up, slowly moving through with his long-barreled rifle, you can hear him as he, there's one, they're up above, as he fires a shot off, and you hear the ricochet, ding, 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 as someone firing up in the catwalk. Clearly, the bullet was just shredded as it was trying to make its way through the grate coming above. And you duck behind one of the tanks that's right over there. And it's your turn now.
Right. So since I was spotted.
Yes.
And I lost my, it's not composure, but I was
weren't
trained
able
on
to
it.
shoot outside of. Yeah. But so those are spotted, yes. As far as that goes with that stealth check. But you were just moving over there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, with the AK pointed at
Right.
him.
So you maybe had the AK pointed, but then when they fired, you favored
Right.
getting out of the way.
Okay.
All right. So I think, what's that 1 for? Maybe for stealth, and these were for composure. The issue is that they got 2 degrees of success.
Right.
So
it
mine
canceled it out.
Yeah, mine would have canceled yours out. They still would have seen you. So.
Gotcha.
So as you move across, I got 2 degrees of success looking for you, and you got 1. So unfortunately, that guy still saw you. But we're back at the top of the round now.
Okay.
And everyone can declare their intent yet again. Because of your composure hold, you could act inside this round if you want, or you can save it to react whenever you want next turn.
Can I do a hold check and wait for the perfect shot?
You want to fire?
I do.
You can go whenever you want. So just prepare your dice pool for firing the gun.
Okay.
Again, tell me when you're ready to go.
Got it. Okay.
All right? I want to hear everyone else's intent.
Yeah, I want to swing around on this other side of this water tank and fire on this person. Right.
Done. All right, let's swing you around.
And then do it.
Thank you.
Like monkey arms.
There we go. So
good?
2 speed for you, Jenny.
2 speed. Okay.
As soon as she moves out of the way from a clear line of shot, I fire.
Oh, right there?
Right there.
Done. Okay, then just roll your dice out now. Let's resolve it.
So I have 1 degree of success
Okay.
from that.
Great. So then you have 1 damage dice as your base. You rolled a 3. Do you want to spend that other degree of success for another damage?
No, I'm going to keep my success. And
Okay. Hold it for something else.
something else.
Absolutely. So you're just going to roll that. And you basically, as soon as Jenny clears, you put out a small round, burst round, and you kind of have the same issue that Jenny does, where it's coming in through the grate and some of the bullets are just getting like torn apart as it goes through the catwalk. And they're more like pattered with shrapnel than they are actually being fired at in any really significant way. And he ducks behind cover right in front of that water tank as well, too. Boom. Yeah, done. Speaking of which, everybody else's speed. Yep, there we go. All right, Kent, so you've resolved, but let's hear everybody else's intent. Wraith's intent.
Yeah, I want to try to move quickly and quietly to get engaged with this guy and attack him.
You could engage this round. For 2 speed dice, I'd absolutely let you move and then engage.
Yeah.
With whatever you would like to use.
Yeah, I want to just run up and I haven't done it before, but can I get multiple attacks with because I have a
speed dice,
combat knife, and
Yep.
Yeah.
You could roll 1 for the combat knife, 1 for the machete. I'm just going to give you another speed dice.
Okay.
And you're going to take that difficulty dice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
Get him, Wraith. Sick 'em.
So full, you could form your pool and then Jenny.
And is it 2 different percentile rolls for each attack?
Yes.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, I'm moving and opening fire on this person.
That's right. So 2 speed dice plus your rolls.
Okay.
All right, roll them up.
Oh, we still got some in here. Let's clear the.
Those are resolved.
Thank you.
Okay.
So Jenny, what's your speed?
So I got 9
9.
and 1 success.
Great. Okay. And Wraith, what's your speed?
I got 11.
11. So the Raiders are actually going to be up first. So he's going to come around to try to take a shot at you again from up there. Woof. Nothing. So have him move up to kind of right where that tank is. You're basically exchanging shots right now at each other from atop the catwalk and below the catwalk. So he kind of just dirty fires, just kind of sprays it up there, but all you see is just sparks as kind of things are flying right by you. Ooh. Ooh.
Does look sad.
You actually hear his small automatic pistol. He just sprays as you hear it go out, and you hear a mag drop.
Awesome.
So
And that's the guy in the far.
that one, right? The other one starts moving up around like he's coming about to. He's going to move up to the next tank, almost exactly where Wraith is, as he's going to come around the corner. He didn't see him at all, as he's trying to go up the same catwalk that you all went up to originally to get around to the side. So, Wraith, if you could take that bandit with the bat and the riot shield.
Right here?
The second one, actually, almost right in front of you.
Okay. I mean, I was running to engage him. So.
Yeah, so you're going to run right into each other.
Okay.
Okay? And then he'll get a saving throw against you, but that's about it. And then, Jenny, you're up.
1 degree of success.
Yes.
I mean, I want to get that person. Obviously, I can't kill
Right.
them, but
You never know. You're fine with your weapon, right?
right with the AK.
So
it's
one success can buy you.
2 damage, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's deadly.
ha.
Oh, one exploded.
Okay, cool. So that's
12.
12. 12 damage.
12 damage? Mm-hmm. All right, you're gonna hear him scream as you watch him kind of drop down, and he's grabbing his arm as it seems to be bleeding.
So yeah, I was running to this guy.
Right. As the gunshots are starting to ring out, you watch as this guy with like, giant baseball bat, again, just with gnarly amounts of nails and wrapped with barbed wire, as he's kind of holding a car door. A modified car door. He's huge, by the way,
Wow.
like 250 pounds, with just neck everywhere. As he kind of just runs across the corner, and you kind of watch him as he makes a wide arc and just almost collides in right in.
Okay. So when he comes around the corner and I see him, like I like smile and I speed up, right? So I'm just running straight into him.
Okay.
And I slash at him with my combat knife.
Right.
And then I try to bring my sword down with the other hand.
Great. How you looking degrees of success wise?
I had let's see, the first one I had with the combat knife. That one's not ×2 training value.
No, it's just ×1.
So just ×1. So I had 1 success with the combat knife, and then I had 5 successes with the sword.
Roll damage. It's presumably if you're using them all for damage.
How many
Yeah,
damage do you need?
I'm using them all for. Well, if I had 5 successes with the sword, I could coup de grace and ignore defense.
Absolutely.
Is this guy wearing like he has a shield
There's
and
a car
Yeah,
door.
that,
and
right?
it's got a big he's got padded armor on him
Yeah.
as well too.
Okay, so let's say that I want to use the coup de grace one with the second attack.
Okay.
So the dagger is basically to just normal damage and to try to push away the shield.
All right.
So
So you roll 1 damage that will have defense on it.
all right, not great, no explodies, but still a total of 14 points of damage, ignoring defense.
You didn't kill him in one swipe, but you lethally injured him in the way that he's not going to be able to fight for the rest of this round. So I imagine that you kind of came down and you sliced against, hoping to get like a gut shot in order to cut across it, but you just like teared across cloth the entire time as you just kind of raked your combat knife in front of me. You just heard as it kind of ran across this padded body armor, and then you brought your sword down on his neck, and you kind of watch as like get in a small arterial splurt as something like purses out as it just like, "Ah! Who uses a fucking sword?" As he grabs a hold of your arm and attempts to like pull you into him.
Okay.
you
Okay.
know. And
That's a grapple?
That's a grapple. Yeah, it's a saving throw for him. He's going to try to use his bat defensively against you.
Okay. Do I roll 2?
Roll grapple.
Tested. Okay. Okay. So I got basically 0 degrees of failure.
I got 2 degrees of failure.
Okay.
So, yeah, he pulls you in, but you're too slippery for him as you basically, your lithe arms just kind of pull out of his hold that he attempted to pull you into as
I just do one of these.
just full right out. It's the adrenaline's pumping. It's like you haven't been in this close quarter combat in this situation in a long time, and it's nice to have an opponent that isn't going to infect you if he bleeds all over
yeah.
you.
Yeah, we can get up close and
Dirty
with this guy.
Yeah. All right. So we're going into the next round. So you watch as he kind of drops and he's holding on to his knee. He's still in the fight, but he's just, you can just watch as like blood is just running down his neck at the moment.
Good.
So, all right, intense all around.
Fire again.
Fire again. All right, Wraith.
I'm gonna try to finish this guy.
All right.
I'm going to continue on the catwalk and get prepared to fire on the one that she already wounded. I'm going to try and get a shot on him to finish him off.
Right.
I'm going to make eye contact with Jenny, like I got him, the one that you already injured. Focus on the other one. You keep your eyes there. I'm going towards him.
So you want to move over to here, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and where can I move to get, is there anywhere on here that I can get a clear shot of this person?
You'd have to go downstairs to get a clear shot.
Okay.
You know, because you're above.
Okay.
But you could, I mean, presumably from where you're at, you could just go onto the other side of the tank.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on the other side of the tank and
Okay,
just
that's
keep my gun trained on this area.
Do you want to shoot?
Yeah, I'm gonna shoot. Why
Then
not?
2 speed dice. Okay, and then Wraith, you're finishing the guy off. 1 speed dice, and you can do the 2 action stuff
will.
again, all again. All right?
Okay.
Roll them up. You can kind of hear as the guy who you pinned down on the side, who was barking out origin horns, like, ah! Ah! God damn it, Ben! Get up there and finish them! And you hear Ben, who was presumably the guy that you're dealing with, Wraith, and goes, they've got a fucking sword, Jim. I got some ninja here I'm dealing with. Just hold on. Keep them down. All right, let's do speed for Wraith.
3.
3. All right, Jenny.
11.
11. And 12. All right, Wraith, surprise, surprise, you're first up.
Okay. They're both successes. They're not great successes.
1 degree of
Only
success.
1 degree of success with each.
Yeah.
So.
Gotta get a 4, 5, or 6, man.
Yeah. The sword is already a 2 die
Yeah, so
for
you
it,
get
and
the
the
2 die.
combat knife is, I can get 1.
And then
so.
you're spending a degree of success on both of them, so that's, again, you can spend a degree of success for damage.
Okay. So then I need 1 more damage die on each one. Come on. These don't ignore defense, sadly.
So pick out anything that's 3 or below.
We got a 2 and a 3 are out.
All right.
But there's still another 14 on him.
14?
Yeah.
Okay. As you come down with the combat knife, attempting to take another slash at him, he kind of pulls his body back a bit, like, again, just kind of narrowly cutting it across. And you swipe down with your Viking sword yet again, and he takes the car door and just kind of like flings it off to the side like this. Mm-hmm. But then you come in with your sword and tell me how you finish him off.
Okay. So yeah, I turn it over and I just run into him with the point right into his sternum.
It just claps right through the armor.
And I just push it right up, and it kind of screeches against the bone a certain amount.
And you watch as he looks at you.
And I just stop when, like, my nose is basically touching his. And there's water, there's blood just dripping down from in between us and spattering all over our shoes.
And he kind of like looks at you, looks down at the knife, and then dies. As he kind of watches his body, just all, 250, 300 pounds of it, just like pulls the knife out easily as you slip it out.
All right.
And he's dropped. Yeah.
Bye.
Cool. Bye-bye. Jenny, you're up.
All right, so I had 11 speed, but I had 3 degrees of success.
3 degrees of success.
Success.
Okay, cool.
Success.
Run it.
All right, I just want to spray in this direction, and can I spend those on damage?
You can spend them on
I'd
damage.
like to spend them on damage. So I already have, can I take some?
Yeah, take it.
Okay, so I already got 2, so it's... Okay, 19 damage.
19 damage. All right, he already got hit in the arm beforehand. You watch as this guy, and you can see him with his dead arm. You kind of watch him as he's attempting to use his gun hand to flip open a slap so that he can slide a clip into his tack vest, that he's pushing it down. And he's so focused on that you're able to kind of get a beat around the catwalk so that you're not firing into it. And you just like light him up right across the side as he drops down to the floor dead. And Wraith, as you kind of watch as this burly giant of a man, as the knife kind of slips down, and you kind of watch him fall dead, stunned as he comes across, your vision is suddenly open as you can kind of see this guy with this long rifle. You can hear him just barely under your breath as he looks like he's put his gun down along the side of him, and you can hear him mumbling a lullaby. He just kind of seems to be singing to himself. Go to sleep. Go to sleep, go to sleep, little, as he comes around and throws across the side of the catwalk, and you kind of watch as these
down
just kind of flipped out, and then
Gas cans.
Smoke, just gas cans. Just smoke just starts to like fill, and gas just starts to.
That's much better than what I thought those were.
Everywhere. So. And you kind of watch as this gas starts to fill. Everybody make endurance checks.
Okay.
With 2 difficulty dice.
Woo.
Go to sleep, little darlings. Hush-a-bye, please die. Don't hear me now, let's cry. Go to sleep, go to sleep.
Wonderful.
How'd you do, my darlings?
I did very badly. I have 5 degrees of failure. Right on the nose.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 1 degree of success.
All right.
1 degree of failure.
All right. Wraith, as you basically watch as one of these canisters clanked and almost fell right in front of you, you just get a big woof of it as it comes right up. And as you're about to pull your mask to kind of grab it on, you feel as the knockout gas just takes you down and you fall prone right there on the floor. Body slumps. Jenny.
I want to use a competence point to get rid of that failure.
Get rid of that failure? Okay, so you
I
take it.
dive out of the way, cover my face.
And Kent, you're so far away from the gas at this point, you're just kind of seeing it spill out at this stage, but you're not anywhere close to grabbing it yet.
Okay.
So, next round. Sorry, for this, until they wake you up, you are out of this combat.
Where has he moved?
He just, for his action, he just threw. He just came around and just kind of chucked them on either side of the tank. He didn't even expose himself at this point.
What's your intent?
I'm just gonna open fire on that and just try to rattle him and get him to move.
You want just suppressing fire?
No, don't suppress?
If you're just spraying and praying?
Yeah, like I just wanna I wanna get him to
Hold on.
move out of the way. What?
Cover me. I got an idea.
All right, I'm gonna cover you.
I'm going to run down the catwalk and jump off with my fire axe and attack him with it. If it was not high enough, he was
No,
able
it's
to
totally
drop
high
out.
enough. You could go down from the catwalk and do that. That's going to be 3 speed dice for sure. And that's a jump check and your hatchet check.
Okay.
The same thing as Wraith was doing. It's a difficulty dice, and you get to roll
Have
2
good
sets.
jump. I got, you know.
I believe in you. I believe in you.
I'm covering him.
Okay. I forgot to say that I was going to tug my shirt over my.
That's fine.
Okay.
Big breath,
We'll use
tuck your shirt.
Big breath, tuck your shirt.
One of it, whatever it's going to be. Roll them all together, Kent.
Okay.
Okay, so my jump is canceled out.
Okay.
0.
What is your speed, Jenny?
11.
11.
One exploded.
Yeah.
I have a 1 degree of success on the melee attack.
Okay.
So
And then what's your speed?
speed is going to be 4, 5 plus a 2 because there's 2 2s. So one of them's yours, one of them's mine. Basically, if we roll.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go with that. So I have
7.
7.
7. Okay, so Kent. Great.
Could have gone worse.
Yeah.
Could have gone worse.
Could have gone much worse. Yeah.
That was a savage attack.
Very savage.
Savage.
So these guys are going to start first. You basically hear boom, 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 as you start to hear that he is potentially changing where he is laid out, but you can definitely hear him kind of starting to run through the grate a little bit as this knockout gas continues to kind of fill. Kent, you got 1 degree of success?
Yes.
Okay. As you basically come around holding your breath, running through the knockout gas with every ounce of energy you can, you leap over the side and jump down. Nothing. He's gone. He's completely escaped as you can start to see gas continue to kind of fill out this parts of the water treatment plant. And he's gone. He's completely there. Jenny, make a spot listen check. Just a reaction.
Success.
Nice.
Success.
I don't know where he is.
All right. You watch as he barrels around this side like this, and you kind of watch him as he comes around over here as he's attempting to basically flank you from this left side. You see him just run around the bend in time in order for him to lift up his rifle and take a shot, make a dodge check.
Two degrees of failure.
Yeah.
I got 3 degrees of failure. 71. So he comes around and just basically lifts his rifle up and watches a bullet just again ricochets right off the tank as you barely get a time to duck your head down and see it. Thankfully, his aim is not as good with this giant respirator that he's now wearing across his face. And at that moment, you start to get sleepy,
But it's my turn.
but it's your turn.
And I had 2 degrees of success, so I just fire.
All right, just unload the damage into him.
Okay. Okay. Oh, yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
How much is that?
It's coming
bad
up
at counting.
exploding.
8 plus 5 is 13.
Okay.
16.
16?
Yeah.
All right, so you basically, is there any 1, 2s, or 3s? Or any 1s or 2s?
No 1s or 2s.
Okay, cool. So you kind of see his Kevlar armor. You watch as a couple of them into his armor, but you watch as it hits him in the midriff as he kind of takes one of his hands off his gun and holds his gut a second as he drops the long gun and pulls a pistol up and aims it right for your head. And at that moment, you watch as the crossbow bolt just pops out through the side of his neck. His head slowly tip as it slams down onto the bottom of the ground, and you hear a thud and the bolt break as it clatters against the bottom of the grating. And you start to feel the gas slowly overtake you as both you and Kent pass out.